Hello, well, greetings. Welcome to another video. Today, we're going to be doing our May reading. We're going to be doing the reading for the rest of May. Today is the 18th of May 2025. What a time to be alive! We are experiencing a beautiful moon in Aquarius, and it is go time. Now, I'm looking at the overview of what is to happen for the rest of May. And I must say that it is definitely going to be action packed. Now, this week has been busy to say the least. A lot has been happening. Um, Mainly, we are having, the Sun conjuncting Uranus. Also, we are having Moon conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto being retrograde. That's all happening today. Also have some other crazy aspects with Mars and stuff like this. I would hate to be an astrologer at this point in time with so much happening. But let's talk about what's happening for the rest of May. Hopefully, you find this information helpful, useful, or at least entertaining. So, in the next 2 days, the sun is going to be shifting into Gemini. We say goodbye to the Taurus season and hello to the Gemini season. Something else just came to my mind. If sun is about to shift into Taurus, that means sun has to be about 27, 28 degrees. Uranus is 27 degrees Taurus. We also have Saturn 29 degrees. Neptune is 1 degree. I think Jupiter is 28, 29 degrees into Gemini. So we have a lot of planets on that tail end. And we know that the tail end, is the most mutable or most changeable aspects. This is when the sign, energy is waning. It's going to start cusping and blending with, you know, the zodiac sign that is adjacent, and the energy starts being transformed and transmuted. And so those final degrees are adding to the complexity or the most complex traits or influences of each sign, just something to bear in mind. So as we persist to May, we're going to be getting the most complex traits from a lot of these planets. Most notable is going to be Jupiter, which is a major planet, deals with our wisdom, knowledge, opportunities, hope, fortune, and our prosperity. So we're going to be seeing complexities there. Also with Saturn, that deals with boundaries, restrictions, limitations, discipline, maturity. A lot of complexity there as they are about to make a shift. So it's almost like you're getting ready to move houses, like you're preparing for what is to come. You know what I'm saying? You're putting stuff away, you're taking stuff out of the closet, like you're just really moving stuff around. A lot of moving parts, so it adds to the complexity, it adds to the chaos, and also the nuance. So just bear that in mind. So on the 20th, we have Sun moving into Gemini. Now, this is going to be a massive shift, as usual. When the sun shifts from one sign to another, it is a massive shift. But when you look at the ruler of Gemini, which would be Mercury, Mercury is going to fly through Taurus very quickly and enter Mercury to catch up with the sun. And Mercury, the ruler of that Gemini sign, is going to have a lot of different aspects. So this Gemini season is going to be quite intense, quite complicated, quite complex. Gemini is an air sign. It's all about thinking, communicating, processing information, learning, and sharing that information, short distance travel. It's that charismatic, creative, charming energy that gets things done with a smile on their face, no matter how difficult and dreadful it may be. It is a mutable sign, so Geminis are highly mutable, changeable, adaptable, flexible, and shit. That's what makes the Gemini zodiac sign as a person two faced, because they're quick to change. their temperament, their mood, even their logic at points in time. Heavily, heavily social. And so this whole Gemini season seems to, is going to be about communicating, thinking, processing information, communicating, sharing ideas, learning, and just having fun with it. Now we're going to have, the ups and the downs, but again, Gemini is about using your words to change situations, you know, and no matter what is being thrown at you, being able to be versatile and adaptable, especially when it comes to how you think and how you process, what is being thrown at you. You know what I'm saying? And you have to aikido and be able to like be versatile, as we discussed. Mercury is going to move quickly through Taurus season, making a whole bunch of different aspects and alignments, and it's going to be entering Gemini. Sorry, it's going to be entering Gemini on the 25th, right? So Sun enters Gemini on the 20th. 5 days later, Mercury is going to enter. Between those 5 day period, Mercury is going to conjunct Uranus as it slides to Taurus. So we could expect the unexpected when it comes to how we think, how we process information, how we communicate this this process that we went through in our mind. And so the way how we think and process information could go through a shift, as we either have to rebel against a situation or circumstance, or as we just seek for freedom or more autonomy over a certain situation that we are going through. And so that is going to force us to think and process and analyze in a different way, and even communicate in a different way. We could have arguments or outbursts because we're still speaking about things happening suddenly. And so you may not have the time to really process the information, and you're kind of like thinking on your feet type of situation. And Mercury's still in Taurus, where you're trying to like take your time and think things through. But I feel like on that day, the 24th, you're gonna have to think on your feet and be able to, what I'm saying, be witty, be, well, not necessarily witty, but just be able to think on your feet, for the most part. On that same day, Sun is going to enter Aries, which is a major shift. I need to do a whole video about Sun entering Aries. But Saturn, sorry, Saturn entering Aries. Let's talk about Saturn for a little bit. Saturn, grandfather. What is grandfather? Authority, right? So it's all about taking authority over our image, because Aries is the head, right? Is the image, is cardinal fire. So your first impression of someone is almost like the rising sign. But the first impression that you give, how you natively or naturally react to circumstances and situation, that's most likely the Aries energy. You know what I'm saying? Like the first thing that really pops out. And so Saturn, being grandfather, authority, also deals with maturity, time, discipline, restrictions and boundaries that we put on ourselves, or a perimeter for us to work inside of. You know, it's going into Aries. Aries is quite impulsive, quite fiery, quite action packed. And so, just themes of more disciplined action or focused action, just taking or creating different ways of stabilizing yourself and stabilizing and organizing yourself in order for you to be able to constantly spark, your creations or your emanations or whatever you're trying to put into the world. We're going to break that down in a whole separate video, but just giving you an idea of what's to come. And then we have Mercury enter in Gemini. The next day, on the 26th, we're going to be having a new moon in Gemini. And then on the 30th, Sun is going to conjunct Mercury. And that's May in a nutshell. I know I've made it a bit long-winded as I try to, interpret the different energies, in terms of major placements. Because if you see the aspects, right? Let's just look at the Sun. From the on the 20th, Sun is going to sextile Saturn. Saturn is in late degrees Pisces. On the 20th of May, Sun is going to sextile Neptune in Aries. On the 24th, Sun is going to trine Pluto in Aquarius retrograde. On the 30th, Sun is going to conjunct Mercury. Let's see what's happening with Mercury from now, the 18th. So Mercury squaring Mars. On the 23rd, sextiles nodes. On the 24th, conjunct Uranus. On the 25th, sextiles Saturn. 26 sextiles Neptune. 27 trines with Neptune. So I feel like it's gonna be a trying time when it comes to how we think, how we process information, how we communicate, how we socialize, even how we learn and how we teach. Because if you don't really know something, there's no way you could really teach it. You know what I mean? And then Gemini also deals with local travel, friends, people who are close to you. So I think it's going to be quite a trying and challenging time when it comes to, again, the Gemini energy, Mercury energy, and also what's happening with the sun, what we have to do during this Gemini season. Yeah? All right, major farewell and major farewell until we meet or greet again. I'm Kevis Major. If you're interested in having a May reading or a Gemini reading or any sort of reading, send me a DM or email at kevisbmajor@gmail.com. And until we meet or greet again, doing it major.